Mainly because we have nothing else to do. Very true, provided it can be said over the airwaves. No, the only two people who've slipped, I think, are you and me. Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I would never let you do that. I mean, after all, don't forget, this is G-rated. There are children listening someplace. Well, I heard you play this for your grandson. It helps put him to sleep. Well, I apologize once again for my cough. I think I'm going to have it until spring. Boy, that says a lot for us now, doesn't it? No, it is true, because as we have said before, if it's not for the audience calling in, it's just you and I sharing our views, and there's a limit to how much of that people can listen to. Is this a test? It is 646-595-3275. Well, I know my daughter said she probably won't be listening today because she hasn't been sleeping and they're expecting miserable weather, so she's hoping, beyond hope, of course, that she can get some sleep. Actually, I actually told her to listen to us. It might help put her to sleep, you know. Well, you want me to... Do you want me to tell people the truth, that there are many times, because Dr. Mark has a habit of hogging the airwaves, that I've seen Felix with his eyes closed, almost ready to start snoring, and I have to give him a little kick under the table. Well, I don't know. Yes, the other side of Oceanside. And you're at Substation Royal. By the way, here's something I want to throw out to our listening audience. Today is the day back in 1959 that the music died. I wonder how many of our listeners know what that means. I wonder if Felix even knows what that means. More than one. More than one. Yes, it was. That was the day that Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and the Big Bopper were killed in a terrible plane crash, and Don McLean popularized it by writing and singing the song The Day the Music Died, and many people made the mistake of thinking that it was about the Kennedy assassination. Okay, young country coming of age, but no, it happened to be the day that those three singers were killed. And another piece of information that some of you may not know, you might be familiar with the country western singer Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings was supposed to be on that plane, but he had a terrible cold, and he just didn't want to fly in that kind of weather, and it was Buddy Holly who took his seat. Buddy Holly took the seat of Waylon Jennings, and for the rest of his life, Waylon Jennings never spoke about that. You know, it was just something you never brought up to him. So I just figured out. Oh, you should have told me. I would have shut up. Usually you say we have a call. You usually say we have a call. Well, you know how verbose I can get. In fact, I owe my partner an apology, because it's my understanding that many times on. Okay.
Your favorite caller. Damn. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Go back to one thing before we go forward. Dr. Mark was just talking about that song when the music died. I didn't pass way past my time as far as JFK assassination. Is that what that was about?
Well, actually, the 1959 was when the crash was, and you are much too young to
right.
to know about that.
No, I would be. What I wanted to. Oh yeah, I caught a bit of it. I turned the computer. I had to turn it off, and I didn't know what you guys were going on. So when I called in, I had to turn the radio off or the computer off.
The song itself.
You know what? Well, what's on my mind? Well, too many things are on my mind. But what really is that I think a famous person said it. Can you be as good as evil? I don't think I see the news with, unfortunately, this, Seymour Hoffman passing. I mean, I loved him. And also, even with Woody Allen. I mean, so much stuff's coming out. I hope it's not true with Woody Allen. I loved him. But this is bad.
Oh, that was 25 years ago. It was a big scandal.
Oh, well, that's been going on. Now it's bigger now, Mark, because now his...
Oh, no, I know, because his supposed stepdaughter, she went public in a letter to
the New York Times.
And she said that all of you people who starred in his movies, she accuses them of knowing what was going on, and
right. She went.
It's almost like who is it? Roman Polanski.
Right, Polanski. Same thing. Well, Mark, you're going to talk too. You might know me before my time too, Woody Allen. I mean, I love him as an artist, but my point is, can you be as good as evil? Well, he does a great artist. He's great as far as his movies, but now his adopted daughter's come out saying how he sexually molested her. And obviously he got in trouble for marrying his adoptive daughter.
Actually, no. I have to correct you on that.
Okay, go ahead.
She was adopted by Mia Farrow and
right.
Andre Previn.
Correct.
Okay?
Right.
So she was no relation to Woody Allen. But people will say, that she was living under his roof. She was a good almost 30 years younger than him, and romance blossomed between them.
Well, I'm glad you corrected me, because I didn't know the full story. Again, I probably wasn't born yet when this happened, when he told me he did it. But now, with this new, her adoptive child, Jesus, that just totally blew the roof off of him.
In fact, my son informed me today that the sheriff who was in charge of investigating this whole thing in Connecticut said that the reason that he didn't pursue certain avenues further was because he didn't want to traumatize a 7-year-old girl.
Right.
But in light of the things that have come out now, he's sorry that he didn't pursue it further, because by not pursuing certain facts or certain areas, it basically let Woody Allen get off scot-free. So,
Well, do you love the guy, hate the guy? Well, I mean, he does such great movies and stuff, but...
the only thing you can't take away from him is his talent. Unfortunately, as like Roman Polanski,
right,
some of these people that have such talent know better than sexual deviants,
Yeah, well, look,
Well, but you don't want to look at it that way, I mean, for years, many, and I won't say that it was, the priesthood became a haven for many men who questioned their sexuality, okay?
Well, please don't tell Dr. Don that.
Well...
It's okay, I'm laughing. It's all right.
No, but he never became one, okay? No. And there are many, and I have to say that there are many priests who, despite the small number, have adhered to their vows, are true to the faith, okay? But there are some that used to use that as a sanctuary, if you will, and what can I say? I mean, just look at all the priests who were dismissed by Pope Benedict the 16th prior to Pope Francis. He had defrocked well over 300 priests for this alone. Now, when Pope John Paul was still Pope, he was like the enforcer. He was the one that went after these priests. Okay, so say what you will about Benedict. I mean, he tried to do the best that he could, but who knows how far up this goes into the Vatican as far as protecting these people,
Speaking of priests, I'm never going to mention names, but someone who married my wife and I must say, is the coolest priest ever. I hung out with him, he drinks, he smokes, and has fun.
Well, there's nothing wrong with drinking and smoking. I mean, except that, neither one is really good for your health. But I mean, many priests, and I don't want to get, ethnic, but I mean, many an Irish priest has lifted a bottle and a glass more than once, okay? I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it.
But we all have this idea of a priest being all holy and, they do nothing wrong. But I'm not mentioning any names, but I'll give you towns in Howard Beach on Cross Bay. We would see him all the time. It's a family friend, and he's a father. But he would just hang out with us. He would be his other members of his church, and they'd be hanging out, drinking, and
you see,
but that's what's good, though.
Well, that you see, in many cases, more I think more Catholics, more youngsters, men and boys and girls, were more afraid of the sisters than they were of the priest. I think, a priest, you have a sense of humor. You could joke. Some things you could say to a priest in humor that you can't say to a sister. You can't say to a nun. When you talk about being chaste, you never hear stories about nuns, okay? You only hear stories about priests.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is what the Catholic Church needs to do. They need to, change with the times. People smoke, people drink. I mean, it's normal. That's what they have to do. Well, in public they do.
And I have to tell you, since it's confession time. Basically, I remember growing up in Brooklyn. We belonged to a synagogue, right. And of course we had an Orthodox rabbi, and like his right-hand person was a young man who was studying for the rabbinate, okay, right. And he was arrested for molesting young boys, so, look, it doesn't just happen in the Catholic Church, and if you read on Facebook, some of these religious sites, you read about all these rabbis and cantors and people with the long hair and the beards right. and everything. They've all been arrested, for being pedophilia, So, it's all coming out now.
Right, I know. I agree.
That's what you're right. You're right. That's what we fail to understand, that they are human beings with human frailties. The funny thing is, if you're looking at Greek mythology, Greek and Roman mythology, even the gods behaved as humans, even though they were not human, okay? They defiled young women. That's how you get some of your, like Hercules, okay? His mother was a human and his father was Zeus. So it's very common.
Right. What's tragic is just on the news, obviously, as you guys know, with the actor, Philip
Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, man. Again, going back to my original phone call with you guys was, can you be as good as evil? This guy was great. We all loved him. And now he's heroin. I didn't know. That's crazy.
James Lipton was on Morning Joe this morning from the Actors Studio. And he said he had him on. And he had him on before he became famous. But way back in 1990, he said. And he said you could see his greatness, how he took over a role and became that person that he was portraying, and that he said he, meaning James Lipton, is very liberal about a lot of things except when it comes to drugs. He said he has seen too many actors and actresses fall prey to drugs, and it robs the profession of their greatness. Now, he said Philip Seymour Hoffman was probably one of the greatest actors of his generation. Now, to qualify that, he said, you had Brando, okay, and you have Jack Nicholson, he said, and you have De Niro, he said, and he would put Philip Seymour Hoffman in that category because of the way they literally took over a role. And he was never a big star. He was always, for the most part, the co-star of a movie.
Yep, right.
He was never the big name except in Capote, all right? And that was amazing. If you closed your eyes, okay, and if you had ever heard Truman Capote speak, it was like you were listening to Truman Capote, okay?
Wow.
How he learned how to speak just like him. And it's something that we forget about Hollywood. Many of the roles that we see either in the movies or TV where you think the person is a Native American, not Native American, but an American, they're English actors, Australian actors, they have learned how to control their accents, okay, that if they portray somebody from South Jersey, it sounds like they come from South Jersey. or in Brando's case, it sounds like he comes from Brooklyn.
Right.
It's truly amazing.
Oh, absolutely. It's a sad loss, obviously. Yeah, I know. It just,
that's why, Felix, that's why you're in trucking, and I'm your intern.
How much did Dr. Mark? How much does Felix pay you?
It's in my contract. I'm not allowed to say. If I divulge how much I'm earning, he cuts my salary by 50%. So I really can't say.
That's fine. Yeah, what else is on the news? Jeez. Well, besides the Super Bowl, that really pissed me off. I mean, damn.
Oh God, don't get me started.
No, don't get me started. I was in $200 boxes. I got 3 of them. Why? I used to love, Manning. Now I hate him.
He never showed up for the game. That was the problem. Okay, it's the Peyton Manning that we all know and we love. Except that for some reason he just didn't show up yesterday. I mean, if we would have had today's weather yesterday, at least the game would have been interesting. Okay,
right.
But the game was far from being interesting. It was so one-sided. I feel.
Absolutely. Well, did you play boxes at all?
I used to when I was teaching. The gym department always ran that, and I would always take 3, 4, 5 boxes, whatever it was. I know that people who go to bars, they have them in bars. They have them all over the place.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I did. I went to a bar, and that's known. It was $200. We got the office, and we did 3 boxes, $200 each. And that last quarter, I want to kill Peyton Manning for that one. Not doing that field goal. I had the right numbers, and I want to kill him now. I don't care who won the damn game, other than they sucked in Peyton Manning. But I was right there. I was laughing on the floor, my hands and knees, and sure enough, they blew it, Manning, on that last play.
They just couldn't do. Yeah.
Well, Felix, I can tell you why, because no one cares. It's not a New York team.
Oh, I spoke about the game. What do you mean?
I know, but no one cares if it's a New York team, or the Jets or Giants or Buffalo Bills or something. But,
well, I know more than once they showed a picture of Eli Manning sitting up in the box, and it looked like he looked so forlorn,
Right. Right.
It was terrible.
You're absolutely right. I saw him sitting up there. I saw that's right. They showed the video cam of him standing there in the in the box. But I was on my hands and knees laughing with that when I thought I had the money coming. Like you're talking about the money. Who cares about the game? I was worried about the money.
Could you imagine what were the odds of starting a Super Bowl with a safety like that?
Yeah.
I mean, that just seemed to set the tone for the whole game. Whatever could possibly go wrong for Denver went wrong.
Oh,
okay?
Absolutely. It was.
He couldn't complete his passes. He wasn't throwing. He hardly threw anything downfield. Okay, it seemed like the Seahawks had the men. The safeties had the men covered. He couldn't even complete the short passes. And even when he did complete a short pass, the guys were hit right away and they went down. So it was just awful.
I hate blowouts like that. Denver, I mean, Jesus, I was rooting for Denver, but damn, they didn't really. I mean, like you're saying, it was just horrible to watch. My sister was rooting for the Seahawks because they were a young team, and it really would be something. I was going with the Broncos because I really wanted Peyton Manning to go out on top, just in case this was going to be his last game. Right.
Even though he said no. Well, now for sure he has to come back because he has to prove that all those records that he set this year were not a fluke, that he really is as good as he was, But the odds of Denver repeating and coming back to the Super Bowl again next year are slim to none,
right.
With the exception of, let's say, Green Bay and the Pittsburgh Steelers and possibly Dallas. I can't think of too many teams that come back year after year. It's usually you win, and then you have an awful season the next season,
I agree. I agree with you. I think Seahawks will be back in it next year too. I think.
Well, they have a young team.
Young team, right? Young team.
Exactly right. I mean, this guy Wilson, their quarterback, is 24 years old. Okay, I mean he was amazing yesterday.
I know. He's great. He's amazing.
And I'm happy for Pete Carroll. I always liked Pete Carroll when he was with USC. Okay, he was in the pros. He went to USC. All right. An opportunity arose. He decided that he'd done everything that he could do at USC, so he turned pro came back to the NFL, with Seattle, and he's built himself a team that has the possibility of coming back year after year because they're just that good. Not to mention, when you play in Seattle in that dome, the sound is so deafening, okay, that it's hard for any visiting team, to do well and beat them. So if Seattle can keep with their, with winning every game like they do in their own stadium, they're starting out 8-0 already before they even go on the road.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hey, Dr. Mark and Felix, I got a good question for you guys. On the news recently, a guy at the charity, and I want to say whatever, church or St. Vincent de Paul or whatever it was, he was going through the clothes, and people donate their clothes, and people resell them for charity. A worker found $43,000 in a suit as he was putting it up.
Holy cow!
So, yeah, $43,000 he found in the suit pocket, and as he was hanging up on the hanger to resell for charity. This guy actually came forward and gave it back. I don't know about you, but that'd be long gone already. Jesus.
The only problem I see in that is that how do you believe the person who comes forward to say that was my suit? Anybody could come forward and say it's my suit.
Right. Well, right. Exactly. I agree. Well, I would just pocket. Well, who's going to come forward and say, "Oh, that was my money"? Anyone can come forward and do that.
Well,
but it's in the papers. This guy is like a miracle guy. He was a worker working at a charity for a church, or I want to.
Well, I'll tell you.
Paul, and he found $43,000 cash in this suit that guy donated for charity, and he found it. And he turned it in.
If in fact the person that he gave it to was the right person, then I think
Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Right, exactly, Felix. He turned it. He hung in his suit up for sale for a charity. He just went through the pockets like normal thing, just checking everything out, make sure no tears or torn or whatever. And he found $43,000 cash. So he goes to his manager to call the police, and they just turn it in. I'm like, who would do that? I want to know about you guys. I'm sorry, maybe you guys have better morals and ethics than I do, but that would right down in my pocket. I'll be out of here.
There goes somebody who is a true Christian. Okay?
I know. I know. You guys can put me down if you want, but that money would be down. Forget about it. Whoever turned it in, he doesn't know who he turned it in. The guy could have been a really rich guy who doesn't care about the money. Who has $43,000 in their pocket? So
I don't know.
He turned it in. I guess as far as I go, that was in my pocket and see you guys later. You know, jeez.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know why when you go to the cleaners, there's always a big sign that says, "Go through your pockets because we're not responsible for anything that's missing."
What? Look, I had the greatest washing, cleaners. They laughed at me every time I came in. They always gave me back $5, $10 singles because they was left in my pocket. They always gave it back to me. That's why I love just going to them. Besides, they did a good job, but they always gave me back my $5 or $10 I left in my pocket. So funny. Hey, wait, Mark and Phyllis, what do you think's happened to Christie? More news is coming out with him. This is a great one.
Well,
This is good with him.
Go ahead, Felix.
It came out. It's incredible. He's so screwed. And I don't want it to happen, but it's happening. He's so screwed.
You know, the stuff that's coming out now is so infantile and childish.
It is childish, but it's going to hurt him, though.
He's saying that this guy Wildstein,
right?
You know, he's going back to his high school days,
right,
and trying to prove what an asshole he was back then. You know, I mean, this is like, who cares? Okay, you're talking 25 years ago. No one gives a damn. You know.
All right, Mark. Let me answer the question. Would you vote for Hillary or Christie for president?
Oh, no question in my mind. Even before this, I was voting for Hillary.
All right. Okay, that's the question. I know what the funny thing is. I didn't. You know what? It's a good question, but I didn't even see a topic before I called in. I didn't even see a topic. That's funny. God.
Well,
you don't ask me, because I'm going to tell you I'm a far left. That's funny. You called me off guard here because I didn't even see the topic before I called in. I had your phone number. I didn't see it.
I would have to beg to differ with you on that. I think that you're closer to the right than the left. If nothing else, I think you're a moderate now, okay? Because I know that I'm far left, okay? And I mean, you yourself, by your own admission, liked Christie, okay? You liked some of the things he says. I didn't like any of the things he said.
No, I just like the balls he has to do what he's doing. I didn't say really. I just like the balls he has. Most politicians don't do that. Oh, I love Ron Paul. Yeah, I love Ron Paul. Even donating $25 to his campaign, or Randy, I should say, or Paul. But I didn't know. Funny thing, guys. I'm looking at this thing right now. I didn't realize the topic was tonight. I'm looking at it now, though. It's funny. All right. Let's break it down. What? Wow, Felix, you're going deep and touching a sensitive nerve. So who would be?
Well, let's put it this way, Felix. If you were a woman, would you want a man or Congress to tell you what you can and can't do with your body? Well, in a way, yes, it is.
Yeah, right, Mose.
It definitely is. You know, I mean,
well, God, you guys dived into really a good conversation. One I may not want to engage in, but I'll tell you how I feel. Well, life. When is it? When is it life? When is it a person? Right. I agree. That's. Oh God, you guys really dived in this one. This is a bad. You dived in this one real bad on this one, but in my heart.
No, because I think that no one has a right to tell a woman what to do with her body, okay, and what decision she comes to. Absolutely.
Well, all right, Dr. Mark, okay. I know, look, I'm following you. Now, when is that time frame? Well, you know, the state, the governments are trying to, you know, I love that, you know, a woman has a right, obviously, but, you know, they have, you know, the woman doesn't want a baby, have the baby, and then give it to someone who wants to adopt it. If you don't want it, don't abort it.
Well, let's put it this way.
So many ways in this one, Mark. I mean, how many months are you along? How many, you know, how old? It just then. You can go there. You can do.
We're not.
What drives me nuts, Mark, is that I'm sorry, another topic. What drives me nuts is you hear these stories on news about women who throw the babies in the garbage.
Well, I mean,
just donate to the hospital. Donate the kid to the fire department.
I agree with you there, but you know, there also it also depends. You know, some women use abortion as a contraceptive. Okay, and I think that's wrong. I think, but if the baby is a result of a rape or incest,
oh, that's right. I look, that's a whole Jesus. We're going downward here. You're right. That's what is wrong. How old is the womb? How is it rape? Was it just a mistake, one night stand? What is wrong? What is the standards? We don't know. Right. That's the whole problem. My stances. I don't even know my stance because there's just too many variables. Whether it's a rape, whether I mean, woman's pregnant over rape, or I mean, what do you get? You know, I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard one. You know, I. It's so hard. Believe me, please, it's hard. I don't know. You know, it depends on the age, how long the woman's carrying the baby. Depends what I know legally. Mark, you know what it is legally? What they consider the child? 3 months or 2 months or?
I really don't know. I don't
know. I don't know either. I don't know, but you know. Trimester, right. But I know. You know, besides,
you're probably right.
Guys, look, women have their rights. Obviously, they're carrying the baby. But you know what? They think about us guys. You got a choice too. You're going to be responsible for the child also. Not your body, but you did something. It takes two to tango. Anything in life, guys, you know that. It takes two to tango.
Well, you know, how about this? Very interesting. Okay? Very interesting. Sure. If a guy wants to have a vasectomy, he has to have his wife sign on the line. Okay? If a woman wants to have her tubes tied, She doesn't need to have her husband's approval.
Really? I didn't know that. Huh. I didn't know that, Mark.
She can do that on her own, but he needs her approval to do that.
I would love to look into that further online, why that is.
No, trust me, it's true. That's why when I had mine done, I had my tubes tied at the same time.
Huh.
Think about that. I don't know.
That's
I don't know.
One, Mark.
I lived in New York. I live in New York, so But that's what the doctor told us. He said, interestingly enough, to do a tubal ligation, which is the tying of the tubes, okay,
right.
A woman just has to give her consent. Doesn't need her husband's approval. All right? But to have a vasectomy, you need the wife and the husband both to sign.
Mark, bake my noodle on that one. That's weird. That's weird.
I don't know.
Hey, Mark, how does it feel though? Any pain or?
Well, funny thing, when I was having it done, first of all, you feel like a real woman. You got your feet in the stirrups.
Oh no! Don't maybe don't tell this on the air. Oh no! I mean, I want to hear it. Oh no!
Well,
go ahead. I guess
the point is when the doctor was doing it, he cut one vas deferens.
Oh.
So he shows it to me. So,
stop talking.
I said it looks like a worm. I said we could go fishing. So
Mark,
he asked me. No more graphics. He asked me if I wanted to stop. I said, "Why? You mean you had people who stop after?" He said, "Yeah, basically they have, but there's no guarantee after that."
Oh Jesus, she's really mad. I'm gonna have bad dreams tonight. Let me ask you something, Dr. Mark. Why did you do it?
Because
you had too many kids?
I had 2 children from my first marriage, and I had 2 sons with my second wife, my present wife. So I didn't want to have any more children. And I knew definitely that I never wanted to have any more kids. So for me, it was an easy decision to make.
I'm never calling this show in again. It hurts. It hurts.
Actually, talking about hurting, I stayed home from work the next day. But that night and the next day, I was so sore, okay, I was like walking around the house with a bathrobe and I was naked, because it hurt. When I went into work the day after that, I said to one of the secretaries, "Now I know what you women feel like when you have a D&C." She said, "Oh, you got snipped." I said, "Yes, I did."
So wait a minute. Now these commercials you hear, you don't feel no pain. That they're all lies.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you're talking. My youngest is 27, so I had this done. 28 years ago. No, 25 years, 26 years ago. 26 years ago I had it done. I'm sure the procedure hasn't changed very much, but it only hurts for a day.
I know it's a professional radio show, but right now my legs are crossed and my hand is holding something.
But the truth is, I know a lot of men who wouldn't have it done. We have very dear friends and he's an Italian, and he said, he would never think of having it done. I told him, "I'll go hold your hand. I won't hold anything else, but I'll hold your hand." He said, "No, not for me."
No, Mark, you're not holding my hand. No way. Oh, you put me in pain tonight. Religion? I don't believe in the religion thing as far as. I'll explain it. Like my wife's, my in-laws, like you're saying, we talked about abortion and stuff. I mean, my wife came from have 6 kids. I think it's a form of 6 kids that they only are 1 year apart. What were they thinking? So,
well, they use the "I've got rhythm, I've got music." I mean, look, if they're good Catholics, they use the rhythm method, and I guess rhythm didn't work for them. That's all.
It didn't work for me either. The rhythm or the pull-up method does not work. So they got 6 kids a year apart from each other, and I mean, I don't know how they did it. 6 kids. You imagine 6 kids? Jesus.
Yeah, you need 2 cars.
They got a lot of cars, a lot of SUVs and caravans.
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
If you're Orthodox, no. Because in that respect, they agree with the Catholic Church that a child is a gift from God. And, look, Orthodox Jews, just like Orthodox Christians, believe that God will provide. God will find a way, Even if it's your 10th child, God will find a way. You may not find the way, but God will, Yes, they do.
They do. They have a lot.
No.
Really?
Let's put it this way. They're not allowed to, but just like people who consider themselves good Catholics, that's the one place where they differ with their religion, okay? Because they say, unless the rabbi in the synagogue is going to help me raise my children, I'm going to use birth control, okay?
Well, I'm learning. Teaching me a lot tonight, Mark. I didn't hear that one. I have a lot of Jewish friends too. Huh.
But we're talking here about Orthodox Judaism.
That's the two there, right there.
We're not talking about conservatism. We're not talking about Reform Judaism. We're talking about the ultra-Orthodox, the ones who believe that when a woman is having her period, okay, you're not supposed to touch her because she's unclean, and that when you have sex with a woman, you do it through a sheet because your bodies aren't supposed to touch. There's a hole in the sheet, and that's what you use.
Wow, this conversation, this thing went to the gutter tonight. Jesus, I didn't know that.
That's relatively clean.
I heard about the sheets, but I thought that was over in overseas, not here.
Well, I mean, for those people who came over from Europe, they took these customs with them. Whether or not their children did it, or whether or not they even did it, it's entirely a personal thing. I mean, the rabbi's not going to come out and ask you,
Mark, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to have sex with a woman with a sheet over her, Jeez.
I have news for you.
Maybe don't tell me.
My wife has a cousin who comes from a very ultra-Orthodox family. His father was a rabbi. When his father passed away, there was standing room only in the synagogue, in the funeral parlor. And Philip said that the reason, see, this you don't hear about, but the reason that venereal disease is so common amongst ultra-Orthodox men is that when their wives have their period, they're not allowed to have sex with them, so they go to prostitutes.
That's been going on for centuries, obviously, for Jesus, that's more than decades, but I don't know. It's like me, I don't know, but I know what you're saying. I'm learning a lot from you tonight. But that's like me going to a strip club and put a sheet over a stripper over. What's the point? If you can't see the person, that's weird.
No. No one says you're not. No one says you're not allowed to see them naked. You're just not allowed to have the bodies touch that way.
Well, that kind of explains maybe why, Mark. I think I spoke about this before when I tell Felix all the time when I go to the over at JFK, the Hilton, the Jewish woman stands about 3-4 feet away from the guy, and they're always a few feet behind from the guy. I don't know what the point of that is. I mean, if you want to be with a woman, be with a woman. Can you explain it to me why that happens?
That's also custom.
But
I don't know.
I see him play. I see them play board games on the table at the Hilton. They all no alcohol, just drinking soda and water and whatnot, and they'll play board games. But the woman is always, the guy will go to the bar with a top hat, and the woman will stay 3 feet behind. Always wearing black, both of them, man and woman. And whether
if you had to live that kind of life, you'd be dressed in black too, wouldn't you? You'd be in mourning all the time.
I don't know what the meaning of that is. I don't get it. If you want to be with a woman, be with a woman. Jesus.
You know, when you go as a Muslim, when you go to pray in a mosque, the men pray separately from the women. They never pray together. And when you go to when you go to an Orthodox temple, okay, you have the men in one section and the women in another section.
You know, that's their beliefs. I believe a man and a husband and wife should be together. You accomplish everything together. Why do they keep it separate? I don't understand their religion. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Husband and wife, you work together, stay together, sleep together, but these people, they're different. They're like saying separate. I don't get it.
But you see, that's how they grew up for the most part, and that's what they continue. Or, as in the case of my nephew, okay, my nephew grew up in a conservative Jewish home, okay, went away to college, came back and went away to Israel to birthright, came back and decided that he wanted to be Orthodox. So he got married in the black coat with the furry hat. He's got a beard, but he doesn't have what we call payas, the curls, okay, he doesn't have that. Because there are different sects within Orthodox Judaism, okay, and he was partying with the men on one side, and on the other side of the wall were the women, and he basically, they carry the woman on a table and they pick her up. They carry him on a table and they pick her up, and that's when they touch, and then they got married. You know.
Interesting.
And this was also done through a matchmaker. Okay, he never met her before. What happened was it's like a rabbi. It's like
matchmaker.
It's like eHarmony.com. You fill out something, she fills out something. You get interviewed by the matchmaker. The women get interviewed by the matchmaker. The matchmaker uses his or her expertise in matching you up. You meet the person by coming to the house, and the family's there. You don't get to touch, okay? You talk. You see,
that's no fun. You can't talk. You can't touch. That's no fun.
You could talk. You talk. You get to see if there's anything in common, or if there's a possibility of a future. And if you agree and sign a contract, you have to be married within 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's how it is.
I'm learning a lot tonight.
That's how it is.
Holy. I didn't know that. I didn't. Wow. I grew up with a lot of Jewish people. I didn't know that. Jeez.
And when you're dating, you're not allowed to hold hands. Okay.
Wow.
You're not allowed to touch. You basically go on dates with a chaperone, and it's the same thing in the Islamic world. Okay, if you are an ultra-Orthodox Muslim, this is the same thing. See, this is why you wonder why there's such division between Jews and Muslims,
right?
Because the religions are so similar. And if you listen to an imam and you listen to an Orthodox rabbi, they'll tell you that there are many things that are the same. For example, Muslims are not allowed to eat meat with blood. Neither are Jews. So many Muslims shop in kosher butchers because the meat is prepared the way the Muslim religion says it should be prepared. Okay? You won't find them, and now we're talking about the ultra-Orthodox. You won't find them shopping in Waldbaum's or Stop and Shop or Key Food. Okay?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you got to see where we work down JFK. I mean, it's a real heavy in down in Inwood or Five Towns. I mean, it's all Jewish people. Nothing wrong with them, but I just, what you're telling me, it blew my mind away. I think I'm on the roast tonight, Dr. Mark, not you. You're roasting me tonight. I didn't know this stuff.
Well, you see, if you were to ask many of, the Jewish people, they will say that life is not for me. And I'll answer you, it's not for me.
Whoa, back up. What do you mean life's not for me? I mean, for
the Orthodox, being that ultra-Orthodox is not the kind of life I would want to live for myself.
Oh.
Okay? But, we have freedom of religion, and people get to choose and worship the way they want to. Okay? This is why in Brooklyn you have such a high volume in East New York, and Borough Park and Manhattan Beach. You have, a high concentration of Orthodox Jews because they, in a way, live almost like they did in Europe. They have their own little shtetl. It's called a shtetl. Okay?
Okay.
Where many of the stores that they shop in, the words are written in Yiddish. Okay? The way it was down on the east side, the Lower East Side, when, at the turn of the 19th to 20th century, okay, when people came over from Europe. That's how it was. No, most of them are not.
No. Yeah, right, Felix. They're Jewish, but I don't know. You know what? Look, Felix, I think I said on your show before, Jewish people, I don't care who you are, black, white, green, Chinese, I don't care. Good person, good person, but I don't have that experience with, when I dated a lot of Jewish girls. My community over here in Noy Park, a lot of Jewish people, Italian people, primarily, that's what it was, but they didn't like me, Jewish people. They didn't like that I was
well,
Italian.
don't you remember I explained it to you before?
Yeah, I knew you did. I know. I got just talking about Jewish people, that's all.
You already started with one strike against you because you weren't Jewish. That's why.
Right. Strike one. Or strike three, I should say.
No, strike one usually. But or maybe even strike two. you know.
Exactly, like strike two. I think I'm on strike three. I didn't say, you know. I guess it didn't help when I said I'm Italian waist down. I guess it didn't help me out at all.
Well, you see, the problem, and again, I said this before, the Jewish faith, the Jewish religion is a dying religion. It's a dying religion because of intermarriage. Okay? Now, when a Jewish woman marries a non-Jewish man, for the most part, and I stress that word most part, first of all, according to the Jewish religion, the children are Jewish because the mother is Jewish.
Right.
Okay? But for the most part, the mother wants the children brought up Jewish. Most Jewish men couldn't give a rat's ass. Okay?
Right.
Really. Because the bottom line is the man's only concerned with one thing: is she good in bed? If she's good in bed, I'll give her whatever she wants. Okay. So the bottom, I mean, you know.
Well, that's any religion.
But you see, and then they say, who's home with the children most of the time? Most of the time, it's the wife that's home with the children. So if the wife happens to be Jewish, she brings the children up, you know, with a knowledge of Judaism. If the wife happens to be Catholic, she brings them up with the knowledge of the gift of the Magi and the Christmas tree and the whole bit. You know, Easter Sunday, Palm Sunday, whatever the case may be. You know. Now, I'll tell you a story about very dear friends of ours where the woman happens to be Jewish. Okay, and this goes back 32 years ago. The woman happens to be Jewish, and the guy was Italian. And his father was like, they lived in Little Italy. Okay, so need I say more? He came right off the boat, and he settled in Little Italy. When our friend was dating his now wife, and was serious about marriage, his father said something which shows the kind of what we would say in Jewish is a mensch, okay, a true person. He said to him, "Do you love her?" And he said, "Yes, I love her very much. I can't see living my life without her." So his father said, "So give her what she wants. She wants the children to be Jewish. Let them be raised Jewish." Now, they always had a Christmas tree, and they always had Easter eggs and this, that, and the other thing, but the kids went to Hebrew school, and they were bar mitzvahed. And the kids consider themselves Jewish. Whether they're going to marry a Jew or not, I don't know. Okay? Right now, they're just 30 years old. They just turned 31, actually. And the bottom line is, you know, they're not thinking of marriage. They have friends that got married, you know, but they're enjoying their single life. Let's put it that way.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, well.
In fact,
Mark, I tell you, you really blew my mind away about the Jewish Orthodox. You really blew my mind away on that one.
You want me to explain my vasectomy again?
Yeah, no. You hurt me. My legs are still crossed, thanks to you.
Of course, and that's why I said ultra-Orthodox, to the point where they're almost Hasidim, okay, or they are Hasidim, you know.
It's just, you know, somebody just thought we kept going to wars and everything over, we just don't understand people. I don't understand a lot of Jewish sects. I don't understand it.
Well, you know what the sad thing is? The sad thing is that these people that I have been discussing with you, the Hasidim, the ultra-Orthodox Jewish people, the Hasidim don't even consider me Jewish because I'm not Jewish enough for them, okay? So they won't even talk to me.
So what makes the difference? Whether you walk up to them and you say something in Arabic or in Jewish language, what makes you separate?
No, if for some reason we happen to meet, whatever it is, let's say we're at a function, okay, in a synagogue, okay, and not that there would be any function why I would be in an ultra-Orthodox synagogue, all right, except for the fact if my nephew has a son and he's going to be named, and they name the child in an ultra-Orthodox Hasidic synagogue, I might be there, all right? You know, but actually, I have to say, at his wedding, the men were very friendly to me. Men dance with men, women dance with women. They only wanted you to come and dance and have a good time and enjoy yourself, you know?
Yeah, I understand. You know,
Oh, wait, but I have to say, when you go to an Orthodox wedding, you can dance with your wife, but you have to have a handkerchief in between you. She holds on to one end of the handkerchief and you hold on to the other. That's the only way you're allowed to dance. And you know something? It's no different than back in the 50s if you went to Catholic school and let's say Bishop Malloy had a dance with, a sister school. The teachers used to put a balloon between you and say, leave room for the Holy Ghost. You weren't allowed to have your bodies touch. You had to have room for the Holy Ghost. So, I mean, it's the same thing.
What fun is that? Jeez. We did a 360, Felix. We had a great conversation. Love it. It was great, but
a progressive, a liberal progressive. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, like, for instance. Oh, those are two different things. Of course you can. Socially what? Liberal? Of course. But you're talking fiscally. You're talking about money-wise. You could be... Well, fiscally has to do with money.
yeah.
No, you didn't say that. You said a fiscal concern. Yeah, I know that. Well, you could be... As far as money goes, you could be a conservative as far as how and what you do with your money, but you could be a social liberal. No. A Tea Party person is like somebody like Rand Paul, who believes in limited and very small government. That's a Tea Party person, and that's a libertarian. Okay, they want limited government, is what a libertarian wants, and basically a Tea Party person wants the same things. Tax enough already. They're paying enough in taxes. But both the libertarians and the Tea Party believe in a balanced budget. They believe that if you're going to spend money on something socially, you have to take away from someplace else because they don't want to have their taxes raised to pay for that social program that you want to have. Okay? Which is what... Yeah. Well, since I only know one person, basically, who's... he calls himself an independent, but he's mainly a Republican. And fiscally... he doesn't believe in spending money on certain social programs, let's put it that way. he figures he worked hard for his money, and he doesn't want to see it go for somebody else who isn't working as hard as he was. What can I tell you?
Well, right, Mark. Just no names that were mentioned, but I know not too many people, but like just what you just said just sparked me to talk. You know, I know people out there who are doing great off of Obama. Or not even, I shouldn't say Obama, off the system. They're getting Section 8, $1,800 a month they get free rent. The $1,800 a month, doesn't matter where they live, $1,800 a month. Then they got the food stamps. And food stamps is obviously a long term, they get credit cards. And they can just swipe it at the grocery store, as long as it's just food, they get $600 a month for free food. And who's paying for it? It goes further than that. I mean, they get health benefits. I don't know about you guys, but I got no health benefits. So these people, this is what the whole fight with is Republicans and Democrats. And what you're talking about politics, everyone's upset about this. And the abuse is going way too far and beyond. And I'm not talking what I see on TV. I know people are doing this. Section 8, they get free, as long as they're divorced, single woman, kids, they get food stamps for $600 a month. They go to the grocery store, they buy up the whole world. They get $1,800 a month, any house, apartment they want. And health insurance for everybody. And this is why I think the Democrats, Republicans are having such a hard time, and the Tea Party is, this is not right. And these people are getting these benefits, a lot of them are off the books. So they keep continuing. That's a show, $18,000 a year or less. And they get these benefits that you and all of us are paying for. I don't know how you feel about it, so let me know. Well, right. I know, but I think, I hate to say this, but I think I'm the fool. I would love free health benefits, Felix. I would love to go, but people are doing it. And you know what? The more kids you have, the more it continues. I think it stops after a certain number of children. You might be right, Mark. I don't know, but I know people. Not knowing names, obviously, telling you, but they're doing it. $1,800 a month the rent they get. They come by, stop by, and they sure live in an apartment. Well, I know one of my friends who I happen to not mentioning any names, but described him just before. Tells a joke about a woman who, something about health benefits or whatever, or having a baby, and her mother turns to her and says, "You're the breadwinner in the family, because every time she has a kid, she knocks out another kid, she gets another check." Right. But listen, there are also people who work in the fast food industry who are making minimum wage, who are also on Medicare or Medicaid because they can't afford to have insurance because their employer doesn't offer it, right, and they're making too little. Just like, I said this on one of our shows. People who work for Walmart, during the holiday time, there was a basket for people to donate canned goods or whatever, and it wasn't going to the Salvation Army or the Red Cross. Right. It was for Walmart employees who couldn't make ends meet based upon their salary. Well, let me ask you something. Do you think Obama's thing 1010 is going to help out that problem?
What's 1010? I don't understand.
Minimum wage, $10.
Oh, $10.10. Well, for one thing, it will take those people out of the ranks of Medicare, I'm sure.
Well,
okay,
no,
because
it increases us to pay more for milk and eggs.
Well, I don't know. You know,
right.
I don't.
It's hard
I think, you know, look, the minimum wage has to be raised because when you compare dollar for dollar, $7.15 is the equivalent of what people were earning in 1959. Okay, as far as the minimum wage goes. And what was it back then? $1.50?
All right. Well, look, the minimum wage is to me for kids, 18 years old, 20 years old, not for people 30, 40, 50 years old. That's
all right, but but the problem is you are finding that people who have been laid off their jobs, okay, older people who can't find work in their chosen field because either their jobs are outsourced to Korea or China or because their age is working against them, all right, these people are forced to go back to work, and they'll take anything. They'll take even 2 part-time jobs, 2 fast food jobs, you know, just to bring money in.
Of course.
You know, and they find that that's not enough. Now, some of these people still have children living at home. You know, for some of them, their wife has to go out to work because, you know, before she was home taking care of the children. But now they need 2 part-time salaries, and hopefully she could get another part-time salary or whatever it is. And they're still behind the 8 ball, but it takes them off the unemployment records. It takes them off the welfare line. Okay? People do what they have to do. I'm not talking about the person who's sitting at home loafing around doing nothing.
Well, that's the gap with our country. You got the wealthy, you got the poor. I mean, you know, I just think 10, whatever I call 10-10, that's what I call it, actually, 10-10. I don't, you know, it's either retirees who retire want to work somewhere for $10.
Some people have dipped into their 401ks to the point where they have none of it left. So they have no retirement money left, and they have to keep working. So if they're eventually laid off their job, or if their job, as I said, is outsourced, and they become too old to find work, you know, but they still have to work and bring in a salary. So these are the people that become greeters in Walmart, or these are the people that work the cash register at Walmart, or that work in the fast food industry.
I'm going to yell at you, Mark, like I yell at my parents. You know, they're done. They're retired. They're done. They don't understand how bad the economy has gotten for people like me, middle class. You know, they're done. They're retired. Their investments, their homes paid off. They're gone. But where does it leave me? And a lot of people like me in the same predicament. I'd rather work $10 an hour. I'll make more money. See, someone answer that question. I'll make $10 more an hour. I'll make $10 an hour. Great. I'll make more money. It's how the economy got.
Well, that's when you consider if you're making $10 an hour, so you would then qualify for Medicare or Medicaid.
Right.
Okay. You would then qualify for food subsidies as far as going shopping goes, so you'd get a SNAP card.
Right.
You know. Well, and you would probably qualify for rent assistance.
Right, Mark. That's why we're talking about it, because I want to work. It's sad. I'm a hard worker. I've been one, but you know what? The government makes it so. Don't work.
The middle class person always gets screwed.
Yeah, right.
That's basically what it amounts to.
Right.
The rich have the loopholes where they could bury the money and pay the least amount of taxes possible. The poor, and by poor I'm talking about lower middle class and lower class, socioeconomically, okay, they're provided for. It's just the people that are in the middle who seem to be paying for everybody else.
Right, exactly right. I agree with you. Absolutely. So now I'm saying, maybe I'll do what my friends are doing. Hey, I'll just go on, get Medicaid, just claim I make $18,000 a year, and I'm going to get health insurance, the best care possible. You know, I'm not saying hearsay. I've seen it. They just get free benefits, free health care, and they're great. Meanwhile, we're all suffering. But well, first off, you guys, you and Felix and my parents, are a different bracket. You guys are a major mark, and you got your money, you got your health, and you got your insurance and home.
Well, I think Felix would tend to differ with you about that as far as he's concerned.
I'm sorry, right? Felix might differ from that one.
But I'm retired. You're right about that. I'm retired. But the first thing I say is I'm glad that I'm not a 35-year-old, let's say, okay, and have to do it all over again.
Right, that's what I'm going to.
And look forward to 30 more years of work if you could last that long,
right.
Or if your job holds out that long, and raise a young family at the same time, because it's almost impossible. And I feel for the young people today. I really do. I
didn't call a show in to get myself more depressed than I already am. Thanks, Dr. Mark.
Well, you could always have a vasectomy.
No!
Think of it that way.
No. God, no.
Every time you tell me that you're depressed, I'm going to bring that up.
Well, you just made it worse. But you guys, I want to say too many things bad on the phone, so I won't. But you got me mad. But I'm not right. It's very depressing because I don't know. I got 4 kids between and what am I going to do? How do you afford it?
And I will tell you that when it comes to the legal system, the judge doesn't care whether you have food on the table for yourself.
Oh,
the judge only cares about whether you have can place food on the table for the people who are your dependents.
Right, exactly right. I went through this, Mark. I went through this.
So have I.
So that's what Obamacare is. They don't care that, when I signed up for Obamacare, they don't know that I got kids to pay for. They just ask me what I make, and that's done. That's it. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm thinking, wait a minute. They're not asking me how much I got to pay for a child support. They don't care.
You see, and that's the fallacy because, I remember when the kids were applying to college, okay, and when the kids were applying to college, my present wife's income counted as household income.
Right.
Okay, when that money has nothing to do with supporting my 2 children from my first marriage.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. You're right.
It should just be, but they don't have any distinction between that. They want to know what your household income is. Well, household income is everything. Okay?
I know. You're talking to... You're preaching to the wrong person, Mark. I know exactly what you're talking about. I did through Obamacare thing. They don't understand. Look, what are you making a year? So let's say $50,000. But they're not accepting the fact that I got to pay. Felix will know this. I was paying $2,100 a month. Well, it was more than that. About $3,000 a month I'm paying. Obamacare doesn't acknowledge that.
You see, and on the other side of the coin, okay, being a teacher, my income is always there on paper. It's very simple to see. I can't hide money. I can't work off the book someplace because, everything is accounted for. I have a friend around the corner who's a hairdresser, okay? Now he has his own salon. But for many years when his kids were growing up, his kids were covered under the CHIPS program, for medical insurance.
Okay,
and he said, that he was getting more money per child for college than I was, even though he might have been earning the same amount of money because as an independent contractor, which is what a hairdresser is, you declare a certain amount of money. So, all of his income basically was cash. So he would declare what he needed to run his house, okay, and a lot of the extras he never declared. So he got more in grant money for his children to go to college than I did.
Well, Dr. Mark, look, I agree with everything you're saying tonight. I agree. I mean, that to me in this country, unfortunately, I don't want to blame Obama, but everything in this country, the less you make, the better you do. Now, my stepson is now graduating high school, and he's going to go to college. You know what? He's going to get grants and everything else because he has no money, has no job, and he's going to get paid for school, for college. I'm happy for him, but at the same time, it's a sad thing. I don't want to get too many details, but the less you make in this country, the better if you do. So,
and many people say that it's come to the point of extremes. Either the less you make, the better off you are, which we know, or the more you make, and being in that higher bracket, the better off you are. Now, if you really want to be depressed,
don't.
No, listen, having nothing to do with sex.
My legs are crossed, Mark, because of you.
I said it has nothing to do with that. The top 85 people, not percent, but the top 85 people of the 1%,
right,
make more money than 3.5 billion people.
Well, you watch the news. I heard that already before. I heard that.
Oh, I'm not saying that I found this out myself. I know I saw it on the news.
It takes me a long time to calculate that, Mark. It takes me a long time to figure that one out.
Well, it's true. If you really want to be depressed, the top 85 wage earners of the 1% make more in income per capita per year, okay, than 3.5 billion people around the world.
I'm not Mark. Well, actually, I think that obviously, actually, I'm trying to answer this question intelligently. I think there's 1 billion people in China, there's 1 billion people in India. The United States is so, it's funny how so powerful we are, but we're only, 300 million people? Other countries are all billions.
I'm Googling it now.
You're cheating.
World population.
This was a fun show for guys, or was not fun show?
Okay. As of March 2012, the world population is 7.14 billion people. Okay? So the top 85 people of the 1% make more money than half the world. A little bit less than half the world.
That's Mark. That's hard to digest. I mean, I got to sleep on that one. That's really, really bad.
Well, there are some people with no income at all. That's why. So figure it out. You know, how many of the 3.5 billion people actually work and bring in money? I don't know. Okay, but still, you know, think about that. You know,
I don't want to think about it. I'm thinking about I'm thinking my legs are crossed, Mark. Thanks to you. My legs are crossed.
You're really
by
funny.
the way, Dr. Don, they want to do lunch whenever the weather gets better. We're going to Harold's.
Yes, definitely. Sounds good to me.
No off-roading, though. You heard the last experience Felix and I had.
I know.
Maybe no off-roading. We're going to get.
Well, I was going to say definitely not in February, and not after a rain. Okay. Probably in March.
Felix says, I have no idea how he scarred me for life. My legs are still numb.
You know, Felix, I don't understand something. I don't know why this man calls up. I scarred him for life by talking about my vasectomy. You scarred him for life by taking him off-roading, you know. Yeah. I don't know why. He's a glutton for punishment.
And you know what? That's funny. Good being a doctor, because you know what? You're right. I love the punishment. I don't know why.
Hey, listen, we made him a household. We made him a household name. My daughter knows Dan and Don. Okay, for the most part, I mean, very few people that I know call up with any regularity anymore. But even they, if I were to ask them, if I say Dan or Don, they say, "Oh, it sounds familiar." Okay, you know. So you and Bat Masterson have become a legend in your own time.
Oh, I feel much better now. Thank you, Mark. I feel much better.
I'm glad.
Oh, you know what? I took too much of your time on the radio. I took too much time up on your radio. But love to have dinner, or I'd love to have lunch. I don't know about the off-roading part. I don't think you will like that, but maybe...
Well, I tried, Felix, I tried not to hog the airwaves, you know. I tried to give you time, and basically you were the one that was bringing up the questions, you know. So you were acting like a moderator, which is okay. We still haven't got. We didn't get too much of your say so. You know how you feel about certain things.
Yeah, Felix, you're very quiet tonight.
Well,
no, you weren't.
You could answer the same questions that you posed to us, you know.
Like, Felix, what are you, Jewish, Christian? What's the answer? Oh, yes and yes, or?
Felix is a Unitarian. He believes that everybody, you know, we're all united.
I'm not united with him. Well, I was, my story is, yeah, but my mother, her story goes that my mother put her fingers crossed behind her back on that one. When asked when I was born, raised Catholic.
When you were baptized?
Yeah, I was baptized, yeah. I went to...
No. I mean, when she had her fingers crossed when you were baptized.
Right. When baptized. When we raised him as a Catholic. I'm raised as a Catholic. That's the story goes. She put her fingers across her back. So, I was in a Catholic school for, a few years. Then they changed to not the Unitarian church, just a Protestant church, community church, East Wilson in Wilson Park. I went to church school and everything else. So I learned all about. But you know what? I don't want to say on the phone, but I'm going to anyway. Look, just so much stuff has come out of internet and the TV. I just being a Catholic, it just has changed so much. Information came out. I just see too much information. Honest to God, I don't know where I stand anymore. Other than just being a good person. I don't know what you are. I don't know what you are. Well, what about thank you? That's why I don't feel it. That's the problem. That's the problem with Catholics. They don't feel it anymore because so many problems have come up with them, and I don't feel it anymore. Nor has my father. That's why he left. I don't feel it. I don't feel it anymore. I don't feel they're right. Right. That's what I went there twice now in my life. That's recently. I'm not saying I go to Unitarian, society, a church, if you will call it church. No, they only like to say it's a church. I just be good to people, and they be good to you back. That's it. The religion the Catholic Church really messed up. So many stories got broken. There's just too many things that went wrong with the Catholic Church as far as the stories and the New Testament, Old Testament, it just doesn't add up anymore. Virgin Mary. I'm 4 years old. I'm pointing this stuff out now about what happened in the Bible. I didn't, I just know to be a good person. That's it. Take care of somebody, hopefully they'll take care of me back. That's what the UU Church, what the Unitarian Church is about. Just take care of each other. That's what it's about. Not that Jesus didn't exist or God doesn't exist, but it's about taking care of people. But the Catholic Church really, they turned me off real good.
Well, the best line.
I'm not saying that the Catholic Church is, all they're horrible, but I'm just saying that the stories are great and everything else. The New Testament, Old Testament doesn't add up. Just take care of people. Of course. Absolutely, Felix. You're right. I don't even talk about it, although other on the air with you guys, but
but you see, that's what the Republican Party does. They're not being true Christians because they don't believe in taking care of the poor. They want them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and take care of themselves, so therefore they have nothing to do with it.
Well, a good twist on that one, Mark. Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. No, you're right. I think people should stand on 2 feet, but the way our system is built, you're better off being poor, you're better off that way. I was taught, I don't know about you guys, I was taught to fight, work, and things will come your way. But in our society, in our government, it doesn't pay. Might as well just be broke and poor, and everyone will take care of you. Yeah, I right. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Obama's going to go down as a great president or the worst president ever. I don't know.
Republicans want to erase him from all walks of history. They want to make sure that he either goes down as the worst president in history or that he was never president.
I think you're right. I think they want to erase him as never a president. I think that's what they want to do. Because
that's why they keep going after his legacy health care program. Okay, and they don't want to give him a jobs program. There are so many things that they don't want to give him, all right, simply because he is who he is. Yeah, I know. Look, I'm not saying I'm a naysayer against him. I just didn't see his promise, quote unquote, change. I didn't see it happen. That's because, unfortunately,
you blame the Republicans for that, but.
Unfortunately, he didn't realize that to get anything done in Washington, you have to be able to play ball.
Right.
And they want you to play ball their way, okay? And he's sticking to his guns,
which is bad.
Well, he's easing up on some of his programs and giving in a little in hopes that the Republicans will give in on theirs. Right now he's saying that, he might have been a little bit wrong on the Keystone Pipeline, that it may not be as, it may not have the kind of effects that he thought about, as far as the environment is concerned. Well, that's because the Keystone Pipeline provides jobs, okay, amongst other things. And let's face it. You want to spur the economy and create jobs. Back when he took office, you see, one thing they won't admit to, we were losing 750,000 jobs a month. at the beginning of 2009, the end of 2008, and that was all under Bush, and he had to make some tough decisions, which he did, okay, and they don't want to give him credit for the fact that unemployment has come down from 7.9 to 6.7. Now, we all know, basically, I know the first thing Republicans will say, it's not a true accounting, because many people have dropped out of the market as far as looking for jobs.
Right.
We know that. We know that. Okay? But, except for these last week or so, like last Friday and not last Friday, the Friday before, and today, the market was down over almost 350 points.
Right, I know.
Okay, so I mean, but still, the market is more than double what it was when he took office. It was down to like 7,000, 7,500. Now it's over 15,000, and it's at one point, just a month or so ago, it hit over 16,000.
Look, I know. I don't. Obama again, I really don't want to be a naysayer with him, but he just really disappointed me with, I was so encouraged by him, a black president, and he's going to change, and promise, but he left us empty-handed. Nothing happened.
I mean, but look at somebody like Sarah Palin. Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because Sarah Palin will probably do a better job than he just did for us.
No. I mean, Sarah Palin is an idiot.
Well,
Sarah Palin, she's a dummy. All right. Sarah Palin says on the birthday of Martin Luther King, she says the president should stop playing the race card. Who the hell is she? Republicans always play the race card.
Well, she's making her TV shows and everything else, but...
Well, you're right, because she's laughing, remember how people used to poke fun at Tiny... Oh, no, you're too young for that. Felix, you remember Tiny Tim? The singer? That's right, tiptoeing through the tulips. Well, the bottom line is, they used to make fun at him, but he was laughing all the way to the bank. Well, Sarah Palin, is laughing all the way to the bank between her ghostwriter. She's written 3 books. She's had her own show on Fox. She's now a contributing person on Fox News. So I mean, Dan. She's making more money than you'll ever see in your life.
Oh, I know.
And is that fair?
Speaking of TV shows, the other weird one is we're just totally off the topic, but that TV show, reality show, the girls get pregnant before they're teen pregnant. What was it called? Oh, 16 and pregnant or something? 16 and pregnant. I mean, this show actually has so much. Actually, I watched it a couple of times with my wife, but it's disgusting. But actually, the statistics show that these women, the girls watch us, are not going to do it. Not going to have sex after watching that TV program. But Sarah Palin, really, I mean, she's making, like you say, going run to the bank. I don't know. I maybe, you know what it is, Felix? Maybe it's because I'm sorry to say, she's good looking. She's kind of attractive, and maybe everyone's saying, hey, look at... The only thing I will agree to with you on is the fact that she's very good looking. Okay? That's about it. It's something sexy about her. I hope I can talk on the radio like this. Something sexy with her wearing those glasses. That's about the only thing that makes her look intelligent. Right. Right. That makes her look intelligent. Exactly. You're right. But, you know why? You know why? Dan, think of it this way. She reminds you of the librarian. Right. You're right. How'd you know that? Who has her shirt buttoned up to her neck, but when she rips off her glasses and rips open her blouse, all you want to think of is one thing. Okay? I don't want to say it on there. You're right.
Yeah, she went to 5 different colleges and finally got a degree from the University of Iowa in communication. Because she was so pretty, she wound up with jobs doing sports commentary, okay, on some of the smaller networks, all right, and then she made herself politically known in Alaska, and she was mayor of, I forgot the name of, whatever her town was in Alaska, and, there aren't too many polling places between igloos, so...
you missed something here, Mark.
What?
She also noticed the Russians doing their flybys in Alaska.
That's right. She could see Russia from her house.
Russia, right. Exactly right. So, but no, that's maybe why the PR and Republican Party said, hey, this woman's pretty. And everyone thinks of a school teacher with their glasses, and every guy's thinking about what their own thing in their mind, and she's
well, don't forget, the only difference between a pig and a hockey mom is lipstick.
Lipstick,
know?
Right, that's where that came up.
Let's be honest about that,
That was the funniest thing ever.
So I really don't have very many positive, things to say about her. I'm sorry.
Me neither. I don't. Pig and lipstick, that was the greatest quote ever. Ever. The pig and lipstick.
Let's put it this way. Poor John McCain, who was the presidential nominee, and when he would appear with Sarah Palin, when he got up there was a minimal amount of applause. When she got up there, the people went crazy. Okay?
Right. I agree.
I don't know. Ask Joe the plumber.
Joe the plumber, though. Right, the guy that. That's funny. That's funny, Mark.
You see, now we're not supposed to mention names. I didn't want to mention his name. You mentioned his name.
Good job.
You don't know. You don't know that. It has nothing to do with that. People who know he's my friend, okay, they know who I'm talking about when I say certain things.
Well, look, guys, I don't know who you're talking about, so don't worry about it. So anyway, what did you guys do on the weekend? Super Bowl or just hung out, dinner?
Super Bowl. Not much of a Super Bowl. It wasn't that super.
I'm telling you right now, I told you already, every box I had I was in it, but I used to love Peyton Manning, now I hate him. I don't like him anymore. I can't believe what he did.
It
was a good game, though. A good game point-wise. It's horrible for Broncos, obviously, but, box-wise, what a great game, but I still lost. Doesn't matter.
I have to say, in that respect, I went to friends, and they were also excited about the boxes because a few times they could have won, and then Seattle would score and screw things up, or in the case that you were talking about, Peyton Manning threw for that guy, they got that touchdown and went for the 2 points, and, it kind of screwed up their winnings for the night,
Oh, Dr. Mark, I had a lock on it was, I think $7,400 the last minute, and Manning had to mess it up. I couldn't believe it. I'm locked into that. I'm like, Dad, I got $700. And Manning freaking didn't do the field goal. I couldn't believe it. Like you said, 2 points here, whatever, 6 points. It was so bad.
Well, what can I say?
Well, especially this game because no one cared about the teams. We're all from obviously East Coast. Nobody cared.
Now, the one thing you could say about New York fans, you could probably find a fan for almost any team, in New York, because people who relocate or people who might have spent time there. Just just talking about your dad. On Friday, he happened to say, well, he spent 5 years of his life in Colorado, so his loyalties lie with the Broncos.
I didn't care about what team won. I didn't care about my money on the boxes. I didn't care. You wouldn't catch me nowhere near Rutherford's jersey. You wouldn't catch me nowhere near there.
Well, what can I say?
It's sad. No New York team was there. Really sad.
Oh yeah, well that's what when Trump originally put his bid in for New York. And convince them about having an outdoor game, and still, when you talk about that, there wasn't much of a hype within New York because no local teams were, going to be represented. On the news, they said that the Super Bowl was viewed by 11.5 million people. Okay. So as dull and as boring as it was, 111.5 million people viewed the Super Bowl yesterday. Okay, so nothing wrong with that.
No, how was it they got so lucky with the weather? I mean, come on, we had freezing temperatures and snow, and one day is warm. The next day we're all in this.
Originally they were calling for like 19-degree temperatures.
Right.
And at kickoff time, it was 49 degrees. 49 degrees at 6:30.
I don't get it. I don't understand. But I'm glad everyone enjoyed the Super Bowl, but that was just crazy.
Well, I'm about as talked out as I could be. So You watch. Now I'll start coughing. I'll hang up and I'll start coughing, But hey, look, I must have had about at any one time 2 or 3 cough drops in my mouth, So.
Well, Mark, look, I must thank you for actually educating me on what we talked about. Some things I don't know.
I'm glad you learned a lot. The good and the bad.
4 years old, I'm still learning.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, I guess that's what you call it. They're still crossed. Felix, you hurt me because of the damn flood.
Hey, listen, Felix and Dan, would it have been... Would it have been in... Yeah, it certainly was, especially in my ear. It was so loud. Yeah. I forgot what I wanted to say, so forget it. Oh, would it have been any different if I was explaining the process of circumcision? Okay, I mean, and that's a religious right, as far as the only positive thing for a little kid is you're 8 days old. You don't know the difference. So, yeah, you're very unhappy and very uncomfortable, and you scream and you cry. Oh, he's gone? Well, you know why? He probably thought it was the end of the show. But, well, anyway, I think it's time anyway, because we've been on almost 2 hours. That's what I'm saying. You're almost time to be cut off. Well, so you put it on at the right time. So anyway, listen, I just want to say to the people, thank you for tuning in. We didn't get much done as far as whether you consider, well, actually it was meant more for you to think about whether you consider yourself a moderate, conservative, or a liberal. But thank you for listening on this Snow Monday. And I'm sure that Friday we'll be talking about the Sochi opening ceremonies. So hopefully people on Thursday will be watching the opening ceremonies, probably via satellite and time delay from Russia. And we'll be discussing that as part of our Friday topic, you know. So, I don't know how they stayed outside for 2 hours. Let me tell you, in this weather, you know, it's a good thing it's not cold. But anyway, all right, Felix, I want to thank you. Okay. Hopefully on Friday I'll make my presence known, and I'll be there, you know. Don't forget. Okay. Good night, folks. Good night, Felix. Good night, Chet. Good night, Mike David. You know? I didn't know you were sitting on the bowl.